All right, boys and girls. So this week we are going to be talking about summarizing the text in both fiction and nonfiction reading passages. So what does it mean when we summarize something? Well, to summarize, you retell the main events in a story by using the key events and details. The summary is not the main idea. The summary is tying up everything that we have learned in the story. When we have a fiction story, we would use the somebody wanted but so then strategy. So when we summarize a fiction story, we would look for somebody, the main character. Who is that? Wanted. What did they want? But what was the problem? So how did they solve the problem? Then, and what was the resolution or ending? So in The Three Little Pigs, the three little pigs, wanted to build their own houses that were safe from the wolf. But then the wolf went and blew down the houses of the first two pigs because they were lazy. So the pigs ran to the third pig's house that was made of bricks. Then the wolf climbed down the chimney and landed in the pot of water. It depends on the story that you've read, because there's a couple different versions of The Three Little Pigs, but you get the idea. Somebody wanted, but so then. With a non-fiction summarizing strategy, you need to answer the 5 W's. Who or what? Who or what was the text about? What events took place? When did it take place? Where did it happen? And why? Why is it important? Because nonfiction text is generally important. When tells us if it was recent, past, present, like current time, or far in the past. What events took place? There are lots of nonfiction articles or stories that you could read that would be useful. The summarizing strategy would be useful in those scenarios, especially when we're talking about things like Black History Month and research projects. This summarizing strategy will help you to put the text into your own words. So what are we doing with that this week? Well, in this interactive notebook, you're going to read a couple of passages here. These are both fiction passages. So again, with fiction, you're going to be using the somebody wanted, but so then strategy to decide which is the best summary. So this says, on Monday morning, Stephen woke up with a sore throat. His mom took his temperature and found out that he had a high fever. Stephen's mom gave him Tylenol to help bring the fever down and told him to go lay down in his room and rest. Later that afternoon, Stephen and his mom went to the doctor. The doctor checked Stephen and found out that he had strep throat. The doctor gave Stephen some medicine and he was able to go back to school later in the week. What's the best summary? Okay, so let's think. Somebody wanted, but so then. So somebody, Stephen. So what did he want? Well, he wanted to feel better. He wanted to go to school, but his mom found out that he had a fever. So she gave him Tylenol and told him to rest, and they went to the doctor. Then he was able to go back to school later in the week. So, Stephen felt sad that he wasn't able to go to school. His mom stayed home with him. He had a sore throat. Well, that doesn't follow what we said. Stephen had a high fever. The doctor checked Stephen. Stephen had to stay home. Or Stephen woke up with a sore throat and a fever. His mom took him to the doctor and they found out he had strep throat. That one is the best summary of the article. So we would circle C. And then I'll leave this one for you to do on your own. And then here we have a nonfiction passage about the American Revolutionary War and then into the Civil War. So over here, you need to type what is the text about, what events took place, when did it take place, where did it take place, and why is this important? So let's read and think about that. After the American Revolutionary War, economic differences grew between the northern and southern parts of the United States. Additionally, the North and the South disagreed over the issue of slavery. There were a series of events that led to the start of the Civil War. Nat Turner led a revolt against slavery in Virginia, while abolitionists from across the country spoke out against slavery. Harriet Tubman, along with other abolitionists, helped lead slaves to freedom in the North through a series of safe homes that became known as the Underground Railroad. John Brown led a raid on the Arsenal Armory at Harper's Ferry, Virginia, in an effort to start a slave revolt. His attempt failed and he was captured and hanged. Abraham Lincoln was elected the President of the United States in 1860. After the election, Southern states began to leave the Union. The Civil War, fought between the North and the South, began in 1861 and ended in 1865 at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia. At the end of the war, the North emerged victorious, and the long period of rebuilding the country, known as Reconstruction, began. So what is the text about? The text is about the events that led to the Civil War, or the Civil War. What events took place? There's a whole long list of them. So you could say Nat Turner Revolt, Underground Railroad. There's a whole lot of things that you could put there. When did it take place? After the American Revolutionary War, even more specific, 1861 to 1865. Where did it take place? The United States. Why is this important? Well, why do you think the Civil War is important? What can you say there? That's part of the summary. So, as I said before, summarizing is the retelling of main events in a story using key events and details, and we have a fiction and nonfiction strategy that we're going to use this week. I hope you find this helpful as you're going through your modules.